Which is amazing when I hear the story and you tell it of like, you didn't want to be an actor.
Nah, I didn't.
How could you deprive the world of this?
Because I wanted to be on the other side of the camera. I always believed in being rich, not famous. You know, I didn't have the dad that can just take you to the mall, you know, because like it's going to be a frenzy, you know, going to amusement parks. You need security. You need, you know, it takes a lot more to set up simple things, living a simple life. And so I wanted to have the perks, but without the chaos. So I wanted to be a writer. I went to the University of Southern California to be a screenwriter. It was probably the biggest accomplishment of my young life. And then in the middle of my second year of college, my dad says, hey, they're taking this N.W.A movie serious. And I'm like, good, Dad, that's what's up. Happy for you. He's like, nah, in a perfect world, I need you to audition. I need you to play me. So I was like, all right, can I leave school? He was like, only if you make it work. So I've just been trying to make it work for almost 10 years now.
Well, I think you're making it work now.
Yeah, pretty solid. I'm all right.
So you actually had to audition to play your dad?
For 2 years. And remember, I convinced him to let me leave school. So I'm in the middle of my second year. So for 2 years, I'm going to these auditions. I'm going to my acting coach, Aaron Spicer. Shout out Aaron Spicer. And, you know, just trying to get it down, trying to get it right. And in those 2 years, I'm on Instagram watching all my friends graduate. I'm feeling like an idiot. Like I ruined everything that I had set up for myself. And when you're going to USC to see everybody, and they're like, oh, so what's up with the movie? And you're like, I don't know. So it got to the point where it bothered me if I didn't get it. And once we finally got the ball rolling, there was nothing you could tell me.
Well, there's this thing in Hollywood where you hear about a movie being made, and so often they don't actually get made.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could have put school on hold for really just an acting school experience.
Yeah, oh,
like
man.
an acting lesson experience.
It was so scary. It was not only to get the role, but once I got it, it's Universal Studios. Like it's a big deal. It's either going to be good or it's going to be terrible and ruin my life. So it was a lot on my plate.
When you went to these auditions and you're meeting people, are you like, yeah, my name's O'Shea,
yeah.
Jackson,
yeah.
Jr.?
Like in the audition, it was really me and the director Gary Gray. And personally, I'm sorry, Gary. But personally, I'm like, man, Gary, you know, you directed Friday. It's a full circle moment right here. You don't want to do this, but he wanted it to be right, so he had to get me right. And when we finally got to the chemistry read, where they get a bunch of the actors going for the same role and try to put different pairings together to see who has the better chemistry, I walk into the room thinking it's just going to be me, one Dre, one Easy.
Yeah.
And I see a Jerry curl. I walk up to him like, hey, man, how you doing? You going for Easy? He said, no, I'm going for Cube. How you doing? I'm O'Shea Jackson Jr. It's good to meet you. So I was going around frowning whole day. Just anybody I saw, just giving them a mean mug until they picked me, my man Corey. Jason already had his role, jerk. But yeah, that was the squad.
Was Paul Giamatti already attached to it?
I believe so. I think at the time of the chemistry read, we were trying to get him. But that's another dude who I'm waiting to run into again. You know, Paul was so cool. He was such the veteran on set. You know, and he's like a slight trash talker, like
Okay.
Tim Duncan-esque. It's like he'll say something funny, but it's nothing like disrespectful. But he'll give you a little jab. He's just very charismatic. I love that dude.
But growing up around all the legends that you grew up around, you step on the set with Paul Giamatti and you're like, of course, like there's a ton of respect for the work that he's done, but you're not starstruck.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just at first and foremost, when you start to come to set, once I get my feet wet, as they say, get my sea legs,
Yeah.
then, you know, I'm ready to go. But the first couple of days, you're in shock. You're like, man, what's up, Paul? Like, you know, and once you get the makeup and you get the curl on and the transformation happens, it's game time.
What do you think was the hardest part about playing your dad?
I think the hardest part was knowing the story and trying to make sure that how my father is viewed by others is how I view him. You know, just making sure that, like, there's a scene where Dr. Dre loses his brother, and you know everybody's on the side of the bus crying and all that. It's very deep and emotional scene, and we're being there for Dre, and he, as you know, as his son, I'm like, man, I've seen my dad cry maybe twice. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know if I want the world to see. Like, I don't know that side of him anyway. So I was like, man, somebody got to be the shoulder to cry on in this scene. And it's just those things where you're fighting your want as an actor to like show the world what you can do.
Yeah.
But then I know my dad, man. I know my dad is gonna let you get your cry off. He's not gonna break down unless it's around my mom and I don't see it. You know, like I couldn't let that happen.
Isn't there a difference, though, between playing the man you know and playing the man who's on the script, like on the page?
Yeah, and you know, it was I really truly believe there's got to be some sort of thought on what the hell are we gonna tell him? He's the son. Like, you know, I've heard these stories my whole life. That didn't happen that way. We were standing over here, and you know, that type of stuff. And yeah, it's a little bit of a battle, but we had such an amazing team, and Gary knew that side of me, and
Yeah.
he let me show it. He let me do me. When we did the Skateland scene, which is like the first time you see us on concert, we did it a couple of times, and you know, it was vibing in there, and we were rocking, and then we were about to move on. And I'm the only one of the guys who's actually done a concert. I've actually been on stage with my dad. When I was 18, he took me on tour. That was my first job, was breaking down and building the set and performing with him and my brother, and then having to break down the set, pack it up, and go on the bus. So like, this is my world right here. The acting stuff, yeah, that's all y'all. But like, performing a concert, I know what I'm doing. And they were like, yeah, it's gonna be 500 extras here today, so don't be nervous. And I'm like, 500 extras? Be nervous? Do you know where I've been, bro? Gary, can I have one take? I asked him for one take, and he was like, all right, yeah, go ahead. And that's where, at the end of the concert, I don't know, can I cuss on here?
Of course you can.
All right, yeah.
It's the internet.
At the end of the concert, it's this part where I go, everybody's now do that shit, do it. And that was me just getting the crowd into it, and it made the movie. Because I know what putting on a show is. That's my world.